company? Well, because a shirt. Why is branded apparel so important for your company? Well, because a shirt or even a hat that has your brand on it gets worn to grocery stores, baseball games, or even family reunions. The impressions are endless and they last years. Contact us today so we can help elevate your company. You've probably seen us all over the racing world and doing a lot of racing designs for events and race teams, but we also do a lot of stuff from small boutiques in small cities all the way up to Fortune 500 companies. Your brand deserves to be seen. We print on more than just shirts, hats, jackets, bags, and much, much more. Custom corporate branding starts here.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome live to another edition of everybody's favorite racing talk show, the Revved sports show from Texas. Showtime, Bobby Chaffee. That's me right here. The Iceman, Rodney Rodriguez, at the Rodney R, is there on your left. Joined, of course, as always, by my dog Rusty in the background. Everybody always asks about the dog, Rodney, so I thought I'd give him he has a name, but I thought I'd tell everybody else. Yeah. Go that route so people actually know the dog has a name.
I'll tell you, man, that's a big part of this show, because this studio here is occupied by 8 legs total too, that they hang out in here, and it's kind of the backbone of this program, because you and I are dog guys, man. That's
we have a good time with our dogs. I have 4 now, after the acquisition or the inheritance of my parents' 2 dogs. So
yeah.
We have full house, along with the feline that's left, a 19-year-old black cat still with us.
We were up to 4 at one point, and so that's kind of the backstory with us. Is that Happy New Year, by the way, guys? So we've got, I think, 5 little boxes that are strategically placed in the house of the ones that have left us, and so it's kind of weird. I was thinking about this the other night. We did on Saturday night. And I'm dealing with allergy stuff and all that crap, because I actually was out in public a lot on Saturday. I went golfing in the morning, and then went and did a walking ghost tour downtown on Saturday night.
I was wondering why you had pictures from 6th Street.
Yeah, man. Went
Dirty 6th. I was like, why the hell is he on Dirty 6th?
Went to the 6th Street on Saturday night. And I got to tell you, it's got quite tame. I don't know what was going on down there. Maybe it was just the timing of the year, but we did that, and it was really cool. I mean, great time hearing stories about, I recommend those things for like local people, like in your local town. Even if you're checking in, from wherever, go learn about your local place, because you think you know stuff, even if you've been there all your life. I learned stuff that I had no idea about. But anyway, back to the ghost thing. So that was kind of the whole gist of that tour, to where it's like, depending on situations, you see little things that kind of tell you that ghost or that spirit or whatever is still there. That happens here at the house all the time. And that's when I'm not drinking beer. I see little flashes. And the one Bobby that comes to see me is always my shadow. It's always Bobo. It's always Roberto. He's always the one that something happens, and it's like, whoosh, there he goes. And it's like a tumbleweed of his hair behind me. And it's like, shit's real, man. That stuff is real.
Did it take you to that? What's the one on 6th Street? Not the Minger. That's in San Antonio. What's the haunted? The Driscoll. They're supposed to be the most haunted place in Austin.
We did the Driscoll, and I knew bits and pieces of that. And I found out 2 different things about the Driscoll. Actually, not about the Driscoll in and of itself, but I think we're actually going to figure out a time to go stay there, because there are two real speakeasies there. I mean, it's like the old school speakeasy where, the way those used to be in Prohibition and all that. You actually go underground and you go into these places, and it's really cool. So go into the Driscoll. But it's kind of creepy. It's kind of creepy.
He's in downtown Vegas.
Yeah, man.
You got to end up having to have the right passcode to get into a couple of them. So
yeah. There's apparently one of them that they don't advertise it. One of them is, and I'm not going to say the name, because they're like, it's one of those things where we prefer people to find it. So if you're like in downtown Austin, go around 6th Street, go around the Driscoll, and you'll find it. One of them, Bobby, is like it's the same thing where you have to have a passcode. They absolutely are not going to let you in. You can't just go rolling up in there. That's pretty cool. I like that.
It's different. I mean, not like open arm like a racetrack, welcoming people. There are ghost stories.
Yeah.
At racetrack. Remember them ghost stories from Longhorn back in the day? You stay there way too late and you see ghosts and shit on the back straightaway.
I'm telling you, man.
I mean, granted, that was probably alcohol induced way back in the day, but
yeah, I saw plenty of ghosts at that place at like 4 a.m. But I really do think that if you go to a lot of these places, I would always, especially right now, I haven't been to San Antonio. I haven't been by SAS in a long time. I would love to go stand out in the middle of SAS, like at 2 a.m. and just see what happens, because that place, I mean, you probably hear the metal rattling around and the gates and all of that. But I said that when I did the Lost Speedways thing, and it was something that Dale Jr. and them thought that it was one of the best things that I said in that, to where, like with TWS, I guarantee you that if you go out and you stand where that track was, I bet you have to hear that zipping around there. I guarantee you, man, that stuff doesn't go away, man. I'm not a big supernatural guy, but how do you get rid of that? How do you get that to go away? I don't think you can.
I think you can. I don't think some people don't want it to.
Well, I think that's super important.
Yeah, some people don't want it to go away, which unfortunately is happening to a lot of racetracks here lately.
Yeah.
But Texas is not immune to that either. So
yeah,
we'll see. Just remember, people, support the racetracks that are out there. That's probably rule number one. That should be everybody's resolution. We had New Year's resolutions last week. Rule number one, resolution number one: support the racetracks that are there.
That's right, because before you know it, they're going to be gone. I mean, it's if you don't support it, because it's like even a bigger thing now, to where you go and you look at the socials and so many people are chasing these places, and you find folks that that they don't know. They just know that it's an abandoned racetrack, and they see this quarter mile, 3/8, half mile thing that's laid out there, and a lot of them are still intact, and people are that is one of the good things about social media, because they go in and they're like, people tell stories. I mean, tell us some stories about this place, and people get animated and they start talking about that. I mean, I hate that we're sitting here talking about those closed tracks, but God, it's just a shame to see these places just waste away, man. It hurts. It hurts if you've done this for the longest time.
Well, but I don't know what's worse, is seeing a racetrack rot away or seeing it completely gone and something else built on top of it.
Yeah, that's the other part.
What do y'all think? What's worse? Is it? Let us see your comments and we'll post them on the show. What's worse, seeing a racetrack rot away or seeing something built up on where a racetrack used to be? Because that's a lot of places are ending up that way here lately. So all over the country.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go diving in. We got lots to talk about tonight. We got a stacked guest list of great folks to talk to, and we're heading out to Arizona. This is a man right now. So many great events that are going on right now, and this one, it's happening. It's our man Chris Kearns, the Wild West Shootout out there in the desert area. Mr. Kearns, how we doing, sir?
Doing great. Busy as heck, but we're getting there.
Man, thank you for taking the time. Sorry about that confusion last night, man. But get us started. Looks like you're already
confusion. I just don't pay attention. That's all.
Well, it happens to us, man. It happens to the best. So break it down, man. Looks like you're on the move. What's going on right there for Wild West tonight?
I've had so many people on site here getting the place ready. Our track prep team got here yesterday. I believe this is going to be the biggest, best Wild West shootout we've ever had, ever. We just have so much stuff planned, and strongest field of competition we've ever had, without a doubt. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Chris, some of the pre-entry list has been amazing to see, but the thing that just blew my mind away when I was reading some of the press releases and some of the pre-press is, man, you've got a good problem, and that is a boatload of sponsors. You got an event sponsor, a presenting sponsor of almost every class of the race itself. How hard was that to set up, or is it one of those things with the reputation of the Wild West Shootout, you got people knocking on your door ready to sponsor it again?
Well, I mean, I say it's luck, right? Some of it is luck. Luckily, we've just got super good support, and I literally just got done having this conversation 2 minutes ago with somebody. Is that it's the way we've been able to pull off the business plan we have, right? I mean, we've had nights paying $25,000 to win with, unfortunately, just a few hundred people in the stands. And even in Arizona, I mean, pretty transparent and honest with everybody and tell them. And I'm sorry, I'm actually in a car driving back to the racetrack now. I'm not driving, but if it gets noisy, I'm sorry. It's just very chaotic and a lot going on. But I feel like we have really good purses. We pay having 25,000 on an opening night, and 25,000 for the finale, and then 10,000s in between, and do that without what would be a stellar crowd like they would have back east. I mean, I go to some of these races back east, and I'm like, wow, there's as many people here as we get in the entire week at the Wild West, just to be honest. And it's just different out here on the West Coast. But the reason we can do it is because of the sponsorship we have. And the reason I think we have the sponsors is we do I think we do a great job of taking care of them, of showing them appreciation. On top of that, Ben and Dustin on Flow do an amazing job of recognizing the sponsors, and we're one of Flow's largest broadcasts of the entire year. And although yes, some of our sponsors are doing it just for support and the love of racing, some of them are doing it for the advertising. They're doing it for the broadcast.
Yeah. And Chris, how great is this that those of us that have been doing this for so long, there used to be like an off season. You're doing this the first weekend in January. I mean, you're diving in and you're going a week against another big race that's going on somewhere else. So how great is that you're able to pull in that car count, that viewership in Arizona? Man, that's a sign of what you guys are definitely doing right out there with the Wild West.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great if we weren't up against the Chili Bowl. I mean, sure, it really would be. And there are probably some crossover, people. Obviously, we got some racers that are going back and forth. Ricky Thornton Jr., Drake Troutman. But, it's the racing. I mean, I feel bad for some of the racers, to be honest. Maybe not the racers. Maybe it's the crew members and the car owners writing the checks that I feel bad for.
Yeah.
Because there is no off season. Racing never, ever stops. And I mean, we're about 20 years into this, and I guess if you count the years of Ernie Mincy, even more years into this. So it's not like the Wild West Shootout is something new. It has been a staple at this time in January for a long time. It's just that racing since then has gotten later in the year, plus earlier in the year. So it's a challenge. And I know how hard the racers and the crews and the owners work to get out here, and how short their off seasons are. So I try and show appreciation for it, of them just coming out here. I mean, we're a long ways away. I mean, heck, it was an 1,800-mile drive for me from Kentucky to come out here. So, it's not easy on the guys. And I know we try and make sure. I love when a racer tells me or a crew member tells me that they are treated better at the Wild West Shootout than any event they go to all year long. And I think back to, Frankie Hecken is saying to me one time, he's like, "Why do you treat us so good?" And I'm like, "Because I'm 1,800 miles away. I have to."
Yeah, absolutely.
I have to.
So, Chris, what's been the reception bringing it back to Arizona, going back to Central Arizona Raceway versus Vado? Vado's a wonderful facility, and it seemed like a great host for a couple of years, but it seems like back to the roots in Arizona. What's that been like, the reception from the racers and the drivers? A little further away, but I mean, what's 100 miles or so for a race car?
It's been amazing. I mean, racer-wise and fan-wise, the excitement of going back to Arizona is amazing. And I tell people all the time, man, if I could have Vado Speedway in Phoenix, wonderful. Vado Speedway is without a doubt one of the 3 nicest facilities that I've been to on dirt, and it's the nicest facility I've ever promoted a race at by far. Royal did an amazing job. Unfortunately, Royal or us cannot control the weather, and it's cold there. I watched last year, and it was on average, it was right at 15 to 18 degrees different every day in Casa Grande and Phoenix compared to Vado Las Cruces area. And that's a big difference. So people are looking forward to the better weather. They're looking forward to so much to do here. I mean, Phoenix area is such a destination. And the thing I'm explaining to people is, yes, it's in Casa Grande, but it's 42 minutes from the airport in Phoenix. When we were at Arizona Speedway in Santan Valley, it was also 42 minutes away from the airport. So it's not in Phoenix. Central Arizona Raceway is not in Phoenix, but it's still the exact same distance because the valley is very large. So it's still, and it's a super easy commute down the 10. So it's a pretty great location.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris Kearns joining us. Wild West Shootout. It is coming up January 10th through the 18th. And of course, you can catch that on Flow. Chris, I do want to ask you, I mean, let's talk about everything that's going to be going on. So it's a long event, but you do have some breaks in there. Kind of break down the schedule for us. The late models. I mean, you got Terry Phillips. I mean, when I saw Terry Phillips, I'm like, man, there you go. I mean, that's badass,
yeah,
man.
Phillips back in a late model. He actually made a joke to me it's kind of funny, and I took this as huge compliments. One time Phillips told me, he said, I sure like the Wild West Shootout a lot better before you promoted it. But I knew exactly what he was talking about, because he was winning half the events. Him and Billy Moyer were winning them all. And we were sitting in a bar at PRI one night. He turned to Jesse Stovall and he said, "You want to come out to the Wild West Shootout? You and I would have a hell of a run for 14th." But yeah, our field is unbelievable with Pierce and Davenport and Marlar and Hudson O'Neill and Shepard and Turbo, and it is a stout field. But anyways, all the stuff we have going on is opening night is this Saturday. We open with we call it the Penske Racing Shocks 25 to 25, presented by Schaefer Oil. So we open up with our biggest purse. We open up the first night with $25,000 to win. That night we have a concert, which is Pryor Baird after the races, who's a Nashville recording artist. Free concert for everybody to come and just enjoy and hang out. We race again Sunday. Everybody is off Monday. Tuesday night we practice. And then we do a pit party afterwards, and we'll feed everybody for free in the pits. Wednesday, we race again with late models, modifieds, and X mods. Thursday is golf. We have a golf tournament, the Pit Boss Golf Tournament. Then we race Friday night, and then we call it the Almost Famous pit party, tent party. Everybody kind of gets together and has a good time. It's pretty good time. Saturday morning, we have a cornhole tournament. Saturday, we race again, late models, modifieds, and X mods. And then Sundays are Saturday night after the races. We actually have another concert, which is Clayton Anderson and his band, who Clayton has performed at the Indy 500 and Indianapolis Colts games and Eldora. Super great performer out of Indiana. And then Sunday is the finale, another $25,000 to win. On top of that, we now have $25,000 lap money on the opener and the finale, thanks to Rio Grande Waste Services. So it's possible the opening night somebody can win $50,000 in late models, which is a pretty decent opener, I'd say.
I think so.
And it's the whole thing's a great setup because I enjoy seeing everybody. It's the one race that people will bring their families, bring their wives, bring their kids. They got Monday off. If they choose not to practice, they actually got Monday, Tuesday off. They can go do other things. They can sightsee. Yep. It's not just grind of racing every single day. Just get up and race. And it's nice on the crews because they got a little bit of a break. They're not killing themselves. So I say all the time, if I was a racer or a fan, I would love the Wild West Shootout.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so would I.
It's a little better, more racer schedule friendly than say the World Series of Asphalt, just because you run 9 nights in a row, even though there's different classes. But if you got a super late model or pro late model, you're burning the candle at both ends. In terms of just picking classes to come, is it just a love of super late models with the drivers and teams calibers that are coming? Then you got regular modified. What's an X mod? Is that like a limited modified that we would call around the country, or?
It's an X mod. In the X mod class, we do a combination of several different, we got the Wasota sport mod. I'm not exactly limited mod. I'm not exactly sure what they call it. Luckily, I have people that they're like, we've hired a guy, his only 2 guys, their only job is modified tech. I don't quite understand them all. I just don't, but it is limited. There's the X mods out of New Mexico. There's Northern Sport Mods from IMCA, and we put like 5 different rule packages together, and they all run together.
That's a good idea.
And then we run the full blown modifieds and the super late models. And we added the X mods probably about 10 years ago. and got great support for it. The late models and modifieds have just been part of it for a long time. And obviously this all started, I mean, Ernie Mincy gets the credit for having the idea and the balls to even have super late model racing in Arizona in January. Back, I mean, I think early as 2001. And the cool thing is the guys that won that year, which I believe was Steve Drake and Ken Schrader, are both well, no, Logan Drake will be racing and Ken Schrader will be racing, both the modifieds. They'll both be here.
Man, that is awesome.
So it's a great event.
Yeah, absolutely. Wild West Shootout coming up January 10th through the 18th. You can catch it on Flow, and be sure and check that stuff out, man. It is going to be so cool. Chris, thank you for jumping on with us, man. Looking forward to this. Let's stay in touch, man. Looking forward to a great week coming up for you guys, and go kick some ass. We'll be following along.
Yeah. Hey, I really appreciate you guys having me on. Anything I can do to plug the event, plug it being on Flow Racing is awesome. And I'd love to jump on after the event sometime and just do a recap. That'd be awesome. I appreciate it.
Let's do it. We'll bookmark it, and we'll be in touch, man. Good luck, and go get it, brother.
All right, thank you.
You bet. There he goes, Chris Kearns. That really does seem like one where you could just kind of go do other things. I mean, because these races do get to where it's like it is grind, but you've got some time in there to go. I think I could take my wife to that event and she would be totally good because she, there'd be days where she could go do whatever and not have to deal with me going to the racetrack, and I could hang out with her. And then you go to Arizona. I mean, what a great place. What a great place to go check stuff out.
You're just trying to find an excuse to go golfing.
Well, I would definitely, I need to tell Chris that I would definitely play in that golf tournament if needed. So, I could definitely do that. But Wild West Shootout presented in full disclosure by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Of course, that is my full-time employer. And I don't get to go to the Wild West Shootout. I'll actually be at the Chili Bowl. So it's kind of one of those things where it's back and forth. But the Wild West right there, just the guys that he's talking about with those super late models that are going to be out there ripping that stuff around. And think about that. Like he said, when you have super late model racing happening in Arizona in January, that's it's a pretty damn cool little concept right there.
Well, it's a great show. I mean, it was the last couple of years of Vado, the racing was fantastic.
Oh man, I've heard that.
It was just great to watch, and just the caliber of drivers. Our buddy Alberson's going to be out there racing with the rest of the top-notch super late model guys. So you're going to see, some of the best drivers around the country end up showing up down there in Arizona. There's a lot of stuff to do in the greater Phoenix area. You love to golf. There's lots of golf, lots of stuff to do for families and everything else. So it's definitely going to be a must-see, must-watch, must-pay attention to event, if you will.
And that's the cool thing. What they've done is, as it goes back to the home base right there, like you were asking him, I think I saw that Royal Jones is going to be the Grand Marshal. So they're really kind of pulling this thing all back together and making it really special for the longtime race fans there. And it's man, you really can't go wrong with either event that you have coming up right here, to where it's like, and that's the thing, when you watch this stuff on Flow, you can just go back and forth. I mean, it's okay. Let me switch back. And like he mentioned, when he started mentioning some of the guys that are entered in this, I'm like, wait a minute, I saw them on the other entry list. So that's going to be pretty cool to follow as well.
It's a hell of a flight from Tulsa to Phoenix.
Yes, absolutely. That's not something that you're going to be able to do the drive and just kind of be doing it that way. But the Wild West Shootout coming up the 10th through the 18th, and that's happening there in Arizona. Be sure and check that out. Super late models, not a bad thing. And like he mentioned, you'll also have the modifieds and what are they called? X mods. Yeah, when he was kind of trying to explain the X mods, I know he didn't have a lot of time, because I know his time is pretty tight right now. But I wanted to go kind of in detail, like around here, where it's like, well, we kind of have, C through F with modifieds. I mean, I totally get what he's talking about right there. But I like to where he mentioned there, to where they've got a rules package and they all come in and they run that. I mean, that's what they run. That's a pretty damn good little concept right there.
I mean, the rules are all remotely close, right? When it comes to the different modified divisions, unless it's an open motor class versus a crate class. But I mean, we do that down in Texana. You run either IMCA rules, USRA rules, just, declare and run, and how they run together. You can't tell the difference from the grandstands.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. They ain't got no fenders. That's kind of one of those things. That's like we talk about sprint cars sometimes, to where it's like if you don't really know the difference between a 410, a 360, a 305, it's like, all right, there you go. So that's Arizona. So let's now go to South Texas, and now we're actually going live to the racetrack. So this could or couldn't be something pretty cool as we welcome in. This is kind of weird to say, race director, the going to the dark side right here. It is our man Cody Hardage. You got the I-37 Texas shootout that's going on in Texas. Cody, how you doing, man? How are things over there in Pleasanton?
Ooh, sounds good, guys. Hopefully it's not too loud.
Yeah, it's ambient noise. Good.
Love that sound, brother.
We have cars on the track, so
Absolutely.
yeah, everything's good. How are y'all today?
Doing well, man. Doing well. So let's start breaking it down for us. What all you guys have going on tonight? Practice night. So again, you guys are going to race into the weekend, but kind of take us through the whole week of what's going to be happening there at I-37.
Yeah, so we got practice tonight. We're actually about to take a quick track prep break, I think, and then we start racing tomorrow. We race Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, 4 nights. Modifieds and stock cars tomorrow, and then add factory stocks for the rest of the week, and then sport compact Saturday night.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a great lineup, and it looks like they've had good results. Guys from all over the state and a couple of northern guys coming down to race in this wonderful South Texas summertime weather we're having in January. But talk about the prep work for that. Is that different in terms of like track prep from different? I mean, we're in the first week in January, and we've got record-breaking temperatures. But then come Saturday, here comes the cold front. How hard is that to prepare the racetrack for? Is it in your mind? I mean, is that you've raced forever? So what do you think that's going to throw a wrench into it, or what do you think going to happen with that?
It is tricky, like they're probably a normal prep for January right now. We got a little bit of dust already starting to come off the track, but it was 82 when I pulled through the gate today. So like you said, it's hot there. It's always tough because it's dirt, and then they've been off of it for about 2 months, I guess, at this point. And so it's kind of starting over. You want it to hold enough moisture. You want it to stay together. It's just you got to hope for the best, and just you can always add water to it. You can't ever take any off.
Yeah. So Cody, kind of the same thing that we were just talking there, with the event going on in Arizona. How much is this like for you, as long as we've all done this, to where here we are, the first part of January, the first weekend coming in January, and you've got a big money event. I mean, there's a bunch of money on the line happening out there at 37, to where it's like, man, that there is no time off. And I mean, for you, whether it's racing and now you're stepping into this role, there really is no time off, right? It's go time all the time.
Yeah, it kind of seems that way. We back, 10 years ago, we'd race from like April to September, and that was cool, and now it's like they just finished racing at the Dome a couple weeks ago. And then now they're, I guess they had some Tulsa shootout stuff last week and some late model races in Alabama. And then they're right back into starting the season up. We're here this week, stuff going on in Arizona, and then, IMCA stuff out there, Wild West shootout out there. And then they're right into speed weeks with the stuff going on in Florida after that. We don't get an off season.
That's it.
So my next question is going to be somewhat generic, just because it's an open-ended question for you, Cody, since we've all known each other for years. How the hell did you get roped into being the race director for this big deal?
I was wondering.
And I don't know. It's something that, like, with running my series in the past, it's something that I've, somewhat enjoyed. Obviously, it's not as fun as being in the car, but, being involved. And then when this thing started last year, the team here asked me if I would be interested. I kind of helped with the track a little bit last year to get it up and running, a little more efficiently. Went through some stuff with them and helped out. So they asked if I would help this deal last year, and enjoyed it. And so I told them, hey, if you do it again, count me in. I'm in. I'm here. It's different. I mean, there's still there's still a little bit of an adrenaline rush to it when you got, 20, 25 cars out there turning 15-second laps and you're trying to keep track of all of them. It's still gets exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously the big change this year, with the modifieds and the stock cars, but you don't have limited modifieds or Southern Sport mods, whatever you want to call them. And then you mentioned the factory stocks coming in. Kind of talk about that part. I no offense to the class that is not going to be there, but I think when you trim that down to where it is modifieds and stock cars, from what I've seen, you've got some invaders that are coming in. You've got guys from across the country that are coming in and they're ready to go. I mean, the money, the points, everything that really kind of solidifies this event as a huge IMCA event, in my opinion. Oh shit, lost him. Damn. On the money question.
I don't know if I lost you. I had a call come in.
There we go.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, the class that's not here, it's kind of tough because it's a call it what you want, but it's a local class.
Mm-hmm.
And so the traveling guys, the ones coming from Iowa and Nebraska and, Florida, wherever, they don't run those cars there. So they're, they don't have that. So I feel like that adding the stock cars, stock cars always put on a good show. We don't run them as much, here in South Texas area, but, I feel like those guys can bring them with them, add to the purse money that they're going to take home and add to the show. And those, the IMCA stock cars always put on a good show wherever they're at.
No doubt.
So, Cody, I know we're talking about the Texas Showdown, but I-37 just released their schedule for 2026. And the first thing I noticed is something near and dear to your heart is a boatload of late model races basically running with the weekly show. How cool is that for you to get late models back to a weekly, basically a weekly class down there in home?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. We've raced a lot on the road the last couple of years, which, that's fun, but it comes with its own challenges. The being able to race at home's nice. I can bring family with me. I can bring friends with me. There's a lot that goes with that. That's kind of nice.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, Cody, right quick, talk about some of the guys that that are going to be a part of this weekend. I mean, Johnny Torres is one of the guys, kind of a hometown race there for him. Talk about some of those guys that you think, from your perch that are going to be a part of this.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got, just looking at who we've got on the list tonight that are always fast. On the modified side, you got both Barnhills from Florida. You got, the Ryan Doyen's always fast here.
Mm-hmm.
You got Isaac Malakote from Iowa. He was fast last year. I think maybe won one of the prelims and ran top 2 or 3 in the feature. Names like Dean Abbey, national championship type guys that are fast wherever they go. Whitaker, you mentioned Torres. Those guys are always fast around here. Fast, somewhat local stock car guy just dropped in the booth here, Tommy Fain.
There you go.
You got some good guys showing up to race this week. So
yeah.
I don't know who all they are just yet, but just looking at who we've got tonight, there's some that matter.
Love it.
Well, it's got to be the free beer after the races. It got a lot of people excited because it's promoted right there on the flyer for tonight. Practice night, all classes, gates open at 5, hot lap 7 to 10, free beer and barbecue. Like it is just there from Oma's Tex-Mex. So that's got to get a lot of people excited, but great job by Ray and them. They know what it takes to get the people down there, right? It's a practice night. That's extra money for the track to come in with practice. And then they've got this big show. So kudos to Ray and them. 1, for just having the testicular fortitude to go with such a big race to open up the season, and then 2, to have them release their schedule this same week too. A lot of good momentum for 37 heading into 2026.
Yeah, the guys here work hard. I think everybody thinks tracks are getting rich off of everything they do, but I promise you that's not the case really anywhere in our area. So these guys are working hard. They're putting money back into the purses. They're putting money into the track to try to make it nicer. They're working hard, and they don't have to. I appreciate the fact that they do. Hopefully others do as well.
Yeah, Cody. Lastly, for me, talk about the other part there. There's a sweet bonus in there. There's money that can be obtained if a stock car or modified. If you can win, both nights right there. Talk about that. 3D landscaping coming in and adding a bonus there if you can take care of business on essentially throughout the weekend.
Yeah, I think 3D. There's others involved in that. I think ODS on-demand shirts helped add to that. I think Comanche Concrete helped add to that. But yeah, there is a sweet bonus if you win all 4 nights. I think it's 3,000 for each class. If somebody sweeps either class, it could happen in both classes. So it already pays decent money to win all 3 nights. With an additional 3,000 on top of that. I think last year it paid 10,000 to win on Saturday for the modifieds, and I haven't done the math because I've been kind of busy, but I would imagine with that sweet bonus, it's pretty close to the same.
No doubt.
Lots of money. Well, dude, we appreciate you hopping on. The race cars in the background was a great sound. We appreciate the live action, right? And but best of luck. Good luck as the race director. Rodney and I know that's an unthankful job there. It's when nothing goes wrong, you're great, but when something happens and it's all your fault, right?
Nothing ever goes wrong. What are you talking about?
Yeah, really.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But best of luck, dude. I'm sure we'll check in later on this year with the late model stuff running at I-37, and just, man, have a good night or a good week and kick ass, man.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate everything y'all do.
Hey, Cody, so are you going to continue to wear polos at the track this year? Or are you going to put a driving suit back on? Come on, my man. You can't
No, I'll put a driving suit on. I just actually just got a brand new one from Velocita, thanks to Patrick Daniel and those guys there. They make a nice product. So sorry for the shameless sponsor plug there, but yeah. I'll be in a driver's suit as much as I can. Not this weekend, obviously, but yeah, we'll see. I plan to race a lot this year.
Well, at least you don't have to look at the car like some of these youngsters have to. They don't remember their sponsors off the top of their head, or they have too many that they have to look at the car. So you did sponsor plugs, perfectly normal, perfectly fine on this show. We're the kings of shameless self-promotion, so you're all right there, Cody.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, dude. Take care. Good luck, man. We'll check in.
All right. Bye.
All right. You bet. There he goes. Cody Hartage, the man in charge over there, the race director. And I think that's really a great move by 37 when you have an event like this to where, I mean, and again, this is not to disparage anyone that's a track official, but when you have folks that are coming in from around the country and there's ultra big time mega money on the line, you do want some I guess we'll say experience, folks that have really been kind of in that hot seat right there to make that call. And that's a good dude right there. That
experience. You can see it coming.
Yep.
It's kind of like, with us announcers, after a while, you can kind of tell when somebody's about to get their feathers ruffled on a rebound or a payback, Wild West, do unto others as they do unto you type of deal. So you can kind of see that coming. Cody's been in the hot seat. He's been in the driver's seat. He knows exactly what he's looking for. And I think it's a good thing when you have somebody with the track record that he has, racing so many different classes and racing for so long. Plus, I think the series aspect is definitely one that helps him big picture wise as well. So
yeah, absolutely. A great get right there to put him in command of that, as he will be the race director.
Two of our good buddies on the call, Chris Workman and Nick Robbins, both supposed to be down there on the call.
There you go. And you can catch that on Race On, I guess it is. Catch all the action right there. So you've got Flow and you got Race On that are just going to be and Flow's going to be, because you're going to have the Chili Bowl going on at the same time. Speaking of all that, so we saw this week as well that with some of the changes that have been going on with the, redirection and so forth. And yes, we are not on Racing America anymore. It's not a big secret. It's not anything to where, what happened with that. I had a couple of folks that reached out and it's like, well, it's pretty obvious Racing America is going a different direction. And I'm sure that they're going to do really well with that. But like with Ricky Brooks and UARA, now going to ultra broadcasting, I think that there's more there, and it's good and bad, because the immediate thing that I saw is, well, that's $24.99 more that I'm going to have to pay, for whatever. But this is more of an all-inclusive package for me, $24.99. You know, I don't know the nuts and bolts of that. I haven't talked to those folks yet, or I haven't talked to those folks. But it's one of those things to where it's just that's racing right now. Like we have all these events going on, like talking about, and think about this. I mean, the events that we're talking about tonight. So you're going to have the event in Texas, and this is a big event, like Cody was talking about. You've got guys from Iowa. You've got the stock cars that are coming in, and quite frankly, I am so excited to see the IMCA stock cars racing this far down into Texas. We saw it at the race ranch in December. That you have that, and then over in Arizona, you've got the Wild West Shootout, and then Tulsa. That's just good old racing and you know what? All those tracks are going to be full of competitors. That's just good racing right there that you're going to see.
And hopefully they'll be full of watchers as well in the grandstands. That was one thing I did notice a couple of years there for the Wild West Shootout there at Vado. Vado was great, but damn, it was cold, and damn, there was nobody out there. So I think that's, like I said, that's a good move, moving it back to Central Arizona. But I mean, it's cool. Lots of good momentum for 37 this week. This big event, you've got the schedule release. Everybody was getting antsy about that. We knew there was going to be a schedule. They are racing on top of some other tracks, but you know, like we've always talked about on the show, there's only so many dates and so many racers available. So you just kind of gotta grin and bear it and hope that your local classes and your local guys stay, you know, loyal to the track.
And that's something that you and I were kind of texting about, you know, with the limited, and I was kind of laughing, and I kind of chimed in there with some of the stuff on 37, because it's like immediately when the schedule comes out, it's like, well, what about the whatevers? You know, they're left out, and you know, with like limited modifieds and all of that, and kind of something that came up there, you know, with. I mean, I don't want to see a class left out, but I am a firm believer that if you don't have the weekly participation of a class, you don't put them on the schedule. I mean, because we go back to where people are going to say race week, yes, I'll be there. And then they're not going to be there. I mean, they fully know they're not going to be there. You take that into consideration and you move forward, like you're talking about with some of the ones with the 3 South Texas tracks that are kind of scheduled on top of each other with different events. But I think what that does, because Cotton Bowl, they have their crew that's going to be, you know, every race they're going to be there. With 37 and South and the race ranch, I think that's where that one's a little more fluid, to where there's more flexibility in there. So maybe a limited modified not here, we'll send them over to the other track, and the whatever class not there, we'll send them over to the other track. And I think that kind of continues to where the competition is there, but at the same time, you're sort of working together, if you know what I mean.
Well, there's what is it? Co-opetition.
Yeah.
I think is one of the crazy words that they talk about. So obviously all the tracks know what the other tracks are doing. It's not a secret. They have to know what each other's doing to try to work their schedules out. But at the same time, every track is doing what is best for them, what it works best for their schedule. You know, there's certain nights that a track may not want to race because they, you know, Corpus CC Speedway was off in the middle of the season because of Buccaneer days. Because they knew that their racetrack was going to be pretty damn empty because everybody wanted to go to Buck days.
Yep.
So you've seen that before. There's local rodeos, local, just, you know, it's rough for Cotton Bowl when you get past September 1st, because you've got the dominance of UT football of people wanting to sit at home and watch the Longhorns. So, I mean, it becomes a challenge. There's so many different things that become a challenge for a racetrack. We've said it over and over on here, but you know, when a track gets good momentum, we like to talk about it. And there's been lots of good momentum from I-37 this week. And, you know, hopefully they get a good turnout. You know, it's hard to get the fans in the stands. You know, we call it San Antonio's racetrack, but it's 40 miles outside of San Antonio going south.
Yep.
So it's a tough to get fans there, probably on, you know, Wednesday, Thursday night, maybe Friday. But come Friday and Saturday, that place should be loaded with fans and loaded with cars.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, big one coming up. The Texas Showdown, that is I-37 Speedway. Of course, you can check them out on Facebook. Get all the details right there. A lot of money on the line. The sweet bonus IMCA stock cars, as well as the IMCA modifieds going at it this weekend there at I-37. Let's go back to the on-demand shirts now, to the hotline. We're going to the phones as we, hey man, we just had the Tulsa shootout. We've kind of previewed and kind of touched on it a little bit, that you have the Chili Bowl that's coming up, but we just had the shootout, which in and of itself, I mean, talk about stacking stuff up right there. That's really cool. Great, exciting racing there happening at the Tulsa Expo Center. We got a driller winner right here joining us, a multiple time driller winner, welcoming to the Revved Up Sports Show. It is our man, Frank Flood. How we doing, sir?
Oh, I'm still recovering. How y'all doing?
So did you get the crud down there, my man? Did you get the crud, or you just wore out, you hung over? What the hell happened over there?
I think it's a combination of all the above.
Absolutely.
It's definitely a taxing week, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's absolutely no doubt about that. All right, man. Take us through the week for you. So it's obviously you win there in the A class, but I think the bigger story, in my opinion, was you win the A class, but you were quite busy, it seemed like, over the week there at the Tulsa Expo Center.
Yeah, definitely. We were very fortunate and able to lock into all 4 classes, and which ended up running 145 laps, all together there Saturday evening. So it was definitely no shortage of track time Saturday, which turned out to be pretty favorable for me. But at the end of the day, we also had the entire F&M performance team that we were taking care of. So we were busy throughout the whole week, whether it was wrenching on rentals or development program kids, or driving the cars myself.
No doubt.
So what's it like running inside there? I mean, is it kind of like racing a fighter jet inside a fishbowl or a gymnasium, as they used to talk about, like Bristol? I mean, those are smaller cars, but I mean, that sensation of just seeing nonstop wall all the way around has got to be pretty crazy. Talk about that.
Yeah, definitely. Port City, our home track, is a lot smaller than the Expo is even. So
wow,
whenever that's what we call our fighter gymnasium for sure. It's an 1/8 mile and the shootout's a 1/5. So it's, being inside that Expo building it's a sensation in itself, because you can see perfectly in a lot of the media shots and everything how packed the stands are and the energy in the building, and just it's such a huge stage event. On a weekly show we get 1,500, 2,000 people in the stands and in the pits all together, and you walk in there and it's like, gosh, I don't even know, 10, 12, 15,000 in the stands. And it's just, this multitude of fans. And then you've got the top pro rowdies, and then the toddler rowdies, as they call them this past weekend on Flow Racing. And it's just an electric feeling that even under yellow, you look up and you just see how excited everybody is. It's if you're ever down in that building, all you got to do is look at the stands, and the energy from it just definitely changes your attitude.
Frank, I was actually there. I'll be there coming up for the for the Chili Bowl, and they took me down on the track to do a quick interview, and I looked up and I was just overwhelmed by the amount of people in there. Talk about that part for you guys, because I think it's so amazing how great you guys are, to where when you go to an event like the shootout or the Chili Bowl, whichever, you have to be a showman or a show person. I mean, you have to do that, because there are so many people that expect that out of you guys. There is no downtime, and you get out there and you pretty much just show the fuck off. I mean, that's what you do, man.
Yeah. It's you when you get on that big of a stage, if you're somebody like Kyle Busch, they expect you to win every time, or Kyle Larson, or, at this point, Owen and Audrey Larson.
Yeah.
They expect you to win. And it's just not that easy, because there's so much talent in the micros that is undiscovered, untapped, and just undeveloped, that it's such a raw racing, grassroots racing program, that you get such a mix. And, everybody expects, if they see me, they expect certain things out of me. They expect certain things out of other guys. And you have to hold yourself, like, hey, this is our stage. This is our Daytona 500. This is where we're going to make or break new sponsors or new fans, so.
Yeah.
So, Frank, we often ask racers and promoters and different types of people on this show, how do you get the next generation of racers involved? And I think Tulsa's figured it out. I don't know if it's just a micro sprint kind of thing or if it's the quarter midget influence or what it is. But there is an abundance of young kids, young racers that will definitely be that next generation of racers pushing all of us old guys out. Talk about what it's like working with that next generation of kids down there.
Oh, it's huge. I mean, that's where I was talking about the undeveloped and untapped talent that is just, setting in the micro ranks right now. It's everybody who, is that had worked for everything and then is now finally an adult and has made their wages and, made comfortable lives for themselves, have children that are starting to come through the micro ranks, and they were racers themselves. So they're not sparing any dollar to try and make sure their son has the best opportunity he has, or daughter. And, there is quarter midget ranks. You've got the micro ranks. They're just exploding you've got NASCAR generation coming in, obviously with a few extra zeros than most of us with their budget, but it's amazing to work with them, because when I was 14, I know I wasn't doing what these kids were doing or capable of what these kids are capable of, but that's how they've been groomed from the time they were able to hold a steering wheel, whether it was by a dad, a grandpa, a mom, even whoever. It's just crazy to see how young that is turning and how much talent they're producing out of it. And because I know when I was 14, I was, happy with, what I was doing, and I was barely involved in it. And, now the 14, it's like, oh, well, we've got to run 6 races this week, so let's hurry up.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a whole different environment now. So with taking home a driller, I mean, talk about that part. I mean, that's one of those things to where it's like, whether you're first or you're sixth or whatever it is, that has got to be, I think I saw something there where you said, I've got that little guy in my hand. That's one of those things to where it's like, man, that is, that's just got to be an amazing feeling to be able to accomplish that, because this is a real freaking big deal.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking 490 entries, in a single class, which is more than the Chili Bowl.
Yeah.
And the Chili Bowl breaks it down. Everybody talks about how hard the Chili Bowl is to win, but the Chili Bowl takes 400 entries and spreads it out over five qualifying
days.
nights.
Yep.
We're taking 500 entries essentially, and we're all fighting for 20 positions.
Yeah.
We don't get the opportunity to break us up into different nights. We're fighting for it right from the get-go. 46 heat races, or 47 heat races, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's just cutthroat. And I mean, there's guys who start on the pole of their heat race and win it, and are nervous that they're not going to make a qualifier to be able to progress onto the next stage. So, I mean, it's so crazy, because you got guys like Ricky Thornton coming in, like I mentioned, Larson, Bush, Bell was missing this year, but he'll be back for the Chili Bowl. I mean, you get such a wide range of talent. And then, just to know that there was over 2,000 entries total, and only 6 guys walked away with one of those, and I'm one of them, is, just huge. It's just a unreal feeling that is so hard to put into words.
I bet.
Yeah, one of the things we say about winning big races is that little bit of money that you get only goes so far, but that trophy sits on that shelf, collects dust, and that story gets bigger and bigger every time you tell it. So where are you going to put it, dude? Are you going to keep it like next to the TV in the living room? You going to put it in a shop next to the other trophies? Where are you thinking about putting that driller?
Oh, it'll probably be in the shop with the rest of them. It's the money you win off that race really isn't a huge amount by no means. We've got a multitude of races that pay 5 times as much as those do throughout the season. So it's just the prestige and the stage, and saying I beat 500 other guys. And it's that trophy, it's super special. And I'm probably one of the weird guys that until my wife made me sit down and reorder some of them, I had given them all to people who were huge and influential in my racing career. to show that my, gratitude towards them. I had given them each one of my drillers, and she, every year, if you're able to win one, you can order more for sponsors and stuff. So she made me order them and said, look, your son's going to want to see these one day, and look up and go, my dad did that. So she made me order them, and we're getting them set up at the shop. So it's turning out to be pretty cool either way.
That's awesome. Frank, last one for me. You kind of mentioned right there, I mean, to win one of these things, some of the names that you mentioned right there that come in to run these races, I mean, you're talking about what people consider, to be some of the best racers in the world. You mentioned some of those guys right there that, will be in, for the Chili Bowl and so forth. But when they come and race with you guys and they're not able to make it to a main event, or they get stuck in the alphabet soup and they can't do this, whatever, what kind of gratification is that for you, that it's like, okay, these are the best, quote unquote, the best that there are, and they can't advance, and I'm going over here and I'm going to win this. How does that feel for you?
Man, that's tough, because it's those guys, there's no lack of effort, for those guys. And on one hand, as a racer, it's really gratifying to know that I was able to progress further, but I'm also a realist, and I understand circumstances inside that building change a lot of things. So to me, it's almost more gratifying to race Kyle or Chris at a smaller event and go head to head with them than it is where at that event where there's so many variables where we don't actually get to go head to head. But even though I made it, further, it's still a great, sitting down at the dinner table story. I outran them one time,
Yeah, no doubt.
It's huge bragging rights, but it's definitely, I'm a weird guy, and I want the one-on-one battle. I don't want any variables in there. I want to actually have the face off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Frank, congratulations on the big one. Good job doing what you're doing with that next generation of kids. I think that's an unsung job. And really it's an unsung responsibility for us that are in the business and in the lifestyle of it now to teach that next generation of kids how to do it and how to do it right. And you're definitely doing that. So I appreciate what you're doing with that next generation of kids, and congrats on the driller. And, as Rodney likes to say, go kick some more ass and get a few more trophies this year.
There you go.
Yeah, definitely. I always, definitely try to take 2 seconds for the kids, because it was huge in my younger days when guys would take 2 seconds for me, and I always try to remember that and pass that on.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Got to keep that going. If you get a chance at Chili Bowl, I'll be in the O'Reilly tent. Come on by, man. Love to shake your hand, maybe buy you a beer, and talk some racing, dude.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, man. Take care. Thanks for jumping on.
Yep. Bye.
You bet. There he goes. That's those enclosed spaces, Bobby.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you can still get the snowball sniffles sitting outdoors. So
yeah, that's a real thing. Where that truly does happen. So you heard it right there from him, and that was the thing when I reached out to Frank. Not only that he won the driller again. I mean, because that's not his first, but just the manner that he qualified for every freaking race. I mean, think about that, because watching that, it's like it's ongoing. It's all the time. There is no break.
It's controlled chaos, man.
Oh my God. I mean, this is where, when I would go to a local short track and I'm watching, they're having a hard time, getting one heat race off the track and bringing on the next one and figuring out intermission and all the different things. And I'm watching these people running, like he said, 146 heat races. Jeez Louise. That, quite the environment.
That's a hell of a pit steward. It's got their shit together.
Dang. Yes. The guy that stands over there and is doing all this, and it is something else. So great conversation tonight right there. It's been really cool to talk about this, because here we are in January with a huge event that we just had, talking there to Frank Flood, and 2 big ones coming up, and we haven't even really touched on the Chili Bowl other than mentioning that, oh, by the way, that's coming up as well.
Yeah, it's a good time. There was no news to talk about today in the NASCAR world, so got a little bit of that still to discuss. And there's some big races coming up, and like we always say, there's only a couple of our friends over at SiriusXM Channel 90. They usually only talk about 2 major non-NASCAR races a year, 3 if you count the Cars Tour race the week of the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro. But it's the Derby and the Chili Bowl are the main two that they talk about, and they'll be having live reports from some of those racers calling in, talking about their week at the Chili Bowl to see how it's going. And it's a bigger story if Larson, Bell, and some of these other guys don't make the main event versus their story to get into it. So I think that's a really good. That's something that I anticipate Flo to be invested heavily in, is following the battle to get some of these big name drivers into the big main event, because honestly, that's what a lot of people don't watch the prelims, because it goes on all damn day. But they'll sit there and watch that main event on Saturday night, whether it comes on at 10 o'clock or comes on at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. And in that non-wing, it was Beeson with the win there, and that was quite the race, at the end right there, with him winning that, his third driller. So all of that. But now that's in the rearview mirror. Like you said, there's going to be a lot of focus that will be on the Chili Bowl, because you will have those names. And that's where we go back to with those events, and where a lot of folks kind of get, discombobulated with things. I think it's a really good thing that you do have mainstream, what we call mainstream motorsports media talking about this, even if it takes, Chris Bell and Kyle Larson and these guys that are going to show up there, because that really does focus in more on, this week with sprint cars and talking about micros and all of that, and super late models on pavement. I mean, that anything that you can get new eyes on that, I think is really pivotal. I mean, we hear some of these folks that kind of talk about it, that don't talk about it all the time, and they may not, be as acclimated as some of us. But the whole thing is they're talking about it, and that's really what you need. And to get folks out at a local short track, I mean, a dirt track, a pavement track, I think it's a really big deal. So that's the beauty. And this is at the beginning of the year. So as we talk about the way the calendar is shifted, the fact that these things happen right now, this is when you can start funneling new people in to get to a local short track, when the regular season fires up in February or, March, whenever it may be.
There's got to be a way to connect the crowds, because half the crowd that shows up at the Chili Bowl don't give a damn about what races on Sunday.
Yeah.
The problem is half the crowd at the Daytona 500 don't have any clue what the hell's going on at the Tulsa Expo Center.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And so I think that there's got to be a way, as we've always said, the rising tide raises all boats. We need drag racing when it's on Fox to be successful. We need IndyCar racing when it's on Network Fox for all 17 races. We need it to kick ass and get a buzz about racing, because that transfers. Oh, well, hell, they run in circles over there. Let's see what this other race is with the cars that look like the stuff I drive on the street.
Yeah.
You need it all to be the ecosystem has to work, because it does. For all the stuff that doesn't trickle down, it does, because you'll get the people that, we've seen it before where, like, you go to a super late model race, all of a sudden you hear that air gun fire up to change them tires. Ooh, this is exactly what I just saw on TV last week, kind of deal. So whatever gets the people entertained to get them involved is the main goal of any racetrack. And you got to get the ass to the seat or the eyeball to the streamer, one of the two, and that's what makes it work. Preferably ass to seat. So
yeah, that's right. And we'll that's the bottom line. Well said right there. We'll talk about that breaking NASCAR news today with the changes happening there. We'll talk about that here momentarily, and kind of recap a couple of other things and preview what is to come. But first, a word from our friends at My Race Pass.
Welcome to the My Race Pass app, the #1 app for motorsports fans. We want to make sure you get the most out of your My Race Pass app experience. With your new free account, you can use the My Race Pass app to see race day information, including event entries and official lineups and results for over 600 organizations across North America. You can also see track information and purchase online event tickets for select tracks. With your free account, you can also search for a track or series on the My Race Pass app and favorite their profile to receive news and race day notifications on your mobile device. To see more information and to see which app subscription is best for you, be sure to visit getmrpapp.com. My Race Pass, the ultimate racing resource.
There you go. And you can keep up with wherever you're at. I mean, the My Race Pass app and the Race Monitor also, but the My Race Pass app, man, that's a really good one to jump into. You can see everything that's going on, and just a great tool. So download that if you have not. So the news breaking this morning the resignation, I guess it would be called, of Steve Phelps, NASCAR commissioner. I guess he was something prior to that, but again, the trial, everything that goes on, some of the conversations that were had with this, that, and the other. Steve Phelps decides to step away. I see a lot of folks saying, "Well, good for NASCAR that they fired him." They didn't fire him. He quit. He left.
I don't think he was necessarily forced out, but I think it was perceived that he needed to get his ass out after some of the text messages that got released.
Yeah, and some of the different stuff that, like, what I saw from him is like this is a very progressive guy. I like Steve Phelps. I mean, I really do. This is a sports business guy. He's worked in the NFL. He's worked in different spots. I think the ultimate downfall of Steve Phelps was that he was trying to implement stuff into a sport that, number one, doesn't want it, and number two, isn't ready for it. I mean, look, as much as NASCAR has grown and doing different things, what works in the stick and ball is not going to work here. I mean, it's just not. It's just not. And when you go in and you talk about the way that you talk about some of these folks, and that stuff gets out, you're doomed to fail. And that's ultimately what happened to him.
Well, the problem is, though, what did he do? What, in the words of a commissioner, right? Let's look it up by definition, right? I should have done this while I was thinking about it. Let's see here.
Well, the commissioner works. If you look at like Roger Goodell or insert the commissioner, they work for the franchise. They work for in this case the teams. And I think that was the disconnect there, to where I think what he did, he was trying to force things on them without really the conversations, and from some of the stuff that we saw in the trial, it just wasn't there. It was kind of trying to be more, I mean, martial law. Is that the right word to use? It's like, this is what we're going to do. And this sport is not ready for that. I mean, it's not ready for that.
Yeah. A commissioner is a member of a commission or individual has been given official charge or authority to do something. Yeah. Here's the problem. There's only one person in NASCAR with that authority. His name is Jim France.
Mm-hmm.
Not the commissioner. It wasn't Steve Phelps. But he was, he became a figurehead.
That's it.
But when it comes to the NFL, Roger Goodell is El Grande Jefe. What he says goes. Adam Stern, NBA, El Grande Jefe. What he says goes. Bettman in NHL, what he says goes. So I think that, I think it was more of a figurehead position so they could be more like the stick and ball sports, where all you really need, I mean, all you have left is Jim France right now. To me, the gopher, and I don't mean this individual as a gopher, but the gopher that keeps popping his head up out of the holes in the ground, that's going to be the most important peg on the wheel, Ben Kennedy.
Yeah. Well, and I love how they said that they're not going to name a replacement. I mean, you can't.
You need one.
You can't. I mean, the only thing that you could do is if you had one of two people. I mean, Junior or now Mark Martin, because he's suddenly become the guy that people want to go to for whatever. And I'd like to say that I haven't seen anything since all this went down. These guys jumping up and down, volunteering to go in there. It's no offense to those guys. Everybody has the answers of what's going wrong, but it's to move forward. And we still don't have the points thing. And now it makes sense to why we don't know what the system is, because this he probably had his idea, but I'm guessing maybe they didn't like it.
I'm hoping by this time next week, we'll know what the hell's going on with the playoffs.
It needs to come out. I mean, you need to have that set. I mean, you're going to go to Daytona. They're going to show up. It's going to be what it's going to be. But I think that he's in the wrong sport. I think that he goes on and does other things. He'll probably be a part of some other league, and this will be an experience that he'll look back and say, well, it just wasn't my cup of tea, and it didn't work out. And I fucked up.
Doesn't spend text messages.
Yeah. That's the big thing. So we'll see what happens next. I think that this is just another situation to where NASCAR, what they need to do, I mean, I hate to say this, is they need to go backwards. I mean, they need to quit thinking forward, because where they've gotten in trouble with, schedule expansion and playoffs and adding new markets and all these things, That's what tends to turn people off. I listened to Channel 90 for a little bit today, and folks, I heard it multiple times to where when things went off the rail was 2001. That's not really when it happened.
No,
It's there's a lot to it.
believe it or not, 2001 changed the trajectory of the sport, because what really killed it, well, I shouldn't say kill it because it's still pretty strong, was the economy dip in the early 2010s is what really put a damper on it, because you watch some of those broadcasts 05, 06, 07, 08, 09.
Yeah.
Shit, 100,000, 120,000 people at, 300,000 for the NASCAR race at Indy.
Yeah.
The grandstands were packed. You got sold out 600s, you got sold out Darlingtons, you got sold out everywhere. So, I mean, that was, it didn't die in 2001. If you think it did, then you're part of the problem.
Yeah. I watched, as a matter of fact, last night on Prime Video, there's have you seen the Rowdy? Have you watched the one about Kyle Busch? You can watch that one, and it goes back to, kind of takes him all there's a lot of stuff that's left out, but it's like it takes you through that middle portion to where those stands were full and the racing was unbelievable. I mean, the competitors that were happening at the time, it was a really, really good time, in where a lot of people think that that NASCAR was kind of starting to fall off the map. But you go back and you watch it, and watching it last night, I'm like, dang. I mean, this sucks. I mean, you don't have the intrigue, you don't have the drama, you don't have the names, you don't have the rivalries, all of that. And that's something that just kind of went away. But I think a lot of that, it goes away when you lose the personalities, and you don't have that right now. It's a different time.
We don't have the next generation of superstars. We
You
have
don't.
big time drivers, but who moves the needle more? Mark Martin or Martin Truex? Same
Right.
kind of guys, same kind of personalities.
Right.
Who moved the needle more? Dale Earnhardt or Dale Earnhardt Jr.? I guess those are kind of the oddball too, but
Yeah.
Ryan Blaney kind of reminds me a little bit of Davey Allison, second generation racer, real popular with the fans. But Blaney doesn't move. He moves the needle of more than most. You got Ross Chastain, kind of got a Tim Richmond-ish feel to him, kind of outside the box and kind of outlandish to a certain extent, just a watermelon farmer. So, I mean, you just don't have the same caliber of personality, I think, is the most politically correct way I can put it.
Yeah. And I think without Phelps, I mean, this isn't something where you're going to see an immediate change. I mean, it's, of course, the most common comment that I saw and heard today was, okay, now the other guy needs to go, so you need to get rid of the other Steve. So if you can force him out,
ain't going nowhere.
no, that dude is absolutely not going anywhere. So I don't see anything drastic that's going to change. I do think that I think a commissioner or some sort of competition, I don't know what you want to call competition committee or whatever. I mean, I think that would be good.
Competition liaison would be a good.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, the in between guy that's going to be in there. But the whole thing is, I mean, with the car that you have now, it's a lot to go back on. So I guess a lot of this is damage control. You can't change the car. I mean, there's way too much invested. I mean, this is the car that you're stuck with. I mean, you're hung by the nuts with this car. So you figure out how to make this work and how to get the best out of it. And I really do think that the best that you can do with this is elevate the personalities, get the competition better, and try to work on it from that point. I mean, and it is frustrating that you get all of these people that have all the answers that people want to listen to, and they're the ones that grab a lot of the buzz with the shit that they say. All right, well, get involved. Offer to get involved. I don't know if Mark Martin's called NASCAR. I don't. Dale Jr., that's kind of one of those things to where he's kind of a tough thing, because hell, he may be an owner at some point. He may be actively involved.
Not with an evergreen charter, he won't be unless Hendrick gives him one.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where it's like, okay, get these people that ideas are great, but let's make them formal. Let's make them to where it's like, don't just drop a tweet, don't just say whatever, and then just kind of fade off and let people run with it, because what do? They just run with it and it goes nowhere. So, I mean, I guess if you're a NASCAR detractor seeing Steve Phelps gone, that's a good thing, because he has been a problem for the growth or the decline of the sport. But
he thought the next gen car was great.
Yeah.
But at least they're trying to fix it now.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
Exactly.
trying to up the horsepower. They're trying to take away some of the downforce. That can go a long way with this car. A little more horsepower, a little less downforce could help this car out a lot, because it's a sports car. You take away some of the downforce and downforce of a sports car and add more horsepower, that's going to be a hell of a beast to drive.
And I'm glad you said that, because that's one of the things that watching the Kyle Busch thing, because that, obviously the car tomorrow was in there with the wing and all that bullshit. But remember the way that car progressed, the way they took that and they took all that stupid shit off of there. And then by the time you got to the variation of that car, that was a really good race car. That car had a lot of horsepower, and you had really good racing on every different genre of racetrack that you could find. I mean, the road course races were great. I mean, the short tracks, the intermediates, all of that was really good. So
Gen 6 was a great car too.
Yeah, it was. I was. And I think that's the direction that you kind of need to go, because I think if you improve the competition, that's going to squash a lot of the negativity. Although it's a lot of negativity right now. I just don't know how you overcome that.
It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is not move the number up the door in the Craftsman Truck Series, which is what we think is going to happen based upon that rendering we got today.
And you know what? I mean, that if people want to bitch about that, fine, whatever. I just want good races. I mean, let's get out there.
Does that change? I mean, we've had this discussion before, and I want to know what people think. If you move the number back on the door, does that change the perception of that car?
I don't think so. I mean, I think what you need to do is have good side-by-side racing, and the stuff that I saw last night with guys, racing each other dirty yet clean, and just that fixes so much of it. And I think that's so much of the appeal of dirt track racing right now, is that these guys are on top of each other. They're doing slide jobs. They're doing all these different things. And no matter what you do with any of that, I mean, what you want is just good, clean competition. And you want people pissed off at each other. Look what dirt's doing right now. You've got these late model guys that are at each other's throats, and that's what sells. That's what sells. So I don't know. I just think that for NASCAR at this point, that they've kind of dug themselves, the Cup Series, they've dug themselves a hole that it's going to be hard to dig out of. And I don't know. I think that there's going to be a lot of people going into 2026. Daytona is going to be really interesting, because people are still, how do you react after the, what do you think we get coming out of the antitrust lawsuit? I mean, are people still going to be pissed off? I mean, I see a lot of people that didn't support Denny or Michael or whatever that are now like, oh, thank goodness for those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, pick your side. I mean, I don't know.
I just think that there needs to be, it's so funny with as popular as Kyle Larson is, and his sponsor being HendrickCars.com.
Yeah.
How come people still call it Hendrick Motorsports with an X?
Well,
I still don't understand that. I heard it all day on Channel 90.
Yeah.
Hendricks this. Oh, Jesus.
Well, and that's, I think that's the other part of it, to where it's gotten to where Hendricks and Gibbs and Penske. I mean, when you talk about the NFL, I mean, look at what we're doing now with the playoffs. I mean, you've got the playoff teams, and you have teams that have made their way into the playoffs, and we're looking at a college football playoff that quite possibly might have two, if you want to call them Cinderella teams, that are going to be in that. It's not the mainstays that you typically
Blue
have.
bloods are gone.
Yeah, exactly. Where NASCAR has put itself in a position to where it's, I mean, one of four teams, right? I mean, it's the whole team thing has kind of changed that a lot for me, where you go back and you watch the old races, and I'm talking way back to where it's like, you had the independent teams, and when you remember when Junior Johnson went to two teams, it's like multiple car team.
They went from individual teams to individual organizations, I think,
Right.
is when the whole theory of NASCAR changed.
Yeah.
Because even when Childress went to the 31 and the 3, they were two individual teams.
Yeah.
They didn't share notes. They didn't share shit. Neither did the Budweiser cars and Junior Johnson back in the day.
Yeah.
All they shared was the paint on either side of the shop, because they were both painted in Budweiser colors.
Yeah. And it was,
I mean, and a lot of that time, those old school guys, and Hendrick had the problem when he first went to three teams with Darrell Waltrip. They didn't want to share no information with the other teams.
No.
So I think it's when it became these conglomerations, if you will, that it became an issue with some of this different stuff, as far as like, being able to just take over the sport. I mean, Joe Gibbs is not the same organization it was when he went to from 18, the single car 18 to the 20 with Tony Stewart.
Yeah.
Now that's when people started sharing information. And they're like, "Oh, that's a good idea. Resource. It doesn't take that much more to run 2 cars. Okay, what about a third car? Well, we got to start sharing resources more if we have a third car." That's how that started going. You see it more now. It's not everybody's talking about the team. Yeah, there's 4 teams within each or at least 3 teams in each organization.
Yeah.
And that's changed the dynamic a hell of a lot.
It did. I mean, back in those times that you talk about, I mean, like with Waltrip and Neil, I mean, Darrell wanted to beat Neil more than anyone else, and vice versa. I mean, it was there was no cooperation there. Mike Skinner and Dale Earnhardt. I mean, Dale Earnhardt didn't want anything to do with Mike Skinner. I mean, that's kind of the way
changed the game with the 28 and 88, I think.
Yeah.
He had the right guys in the right spots. Ernie Irvan getting the rebound, coming back from the injury, getting back in the 28. You had Dale Jarrett with the Cinderella run, finally getting a competitive ride, 96 to 99. What a great time it was to be a Ford fan with the quality care, blue, red, white, blue up front. So,
yeah, it's gotten to where it feels a lot with that. It feels a lot like Formula One, to where you've got the team, you got the team orders, you've got the team, you got to work as a team, and then you get into races to where it's like, well, the Chevys and every time that there's a race going on, and I hear them saying, well, the Chevrolets are discussing this and the Toyotas are doing that, I'm like, don't even say that, because when you start talking about that, all that does is turn off the fans. That when they hear that, it makes it feel like Formula One, to where it's like team orders and so forth and so on. So I don't know. As all this goes on, I'm sitting here thinking, IndyCar, come on, man, get in there, put your foot down, get relevant again. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the Phelps thing changes, to be honest with you. Nothing really. I guess he's just not involved anymore.
Well, IndyCar is getting a new set of commissioners type of
I
deal.
like that.
I like kind of that's Penske trying to cover his own ass and his own investment.
Yeah. It's a lot of damage control right there that they're doing there. But anyway, yeah, we'll see. So Steve Phelps out. He resigns, and NASCAR goes forward. So. Man, fun show tonight, man. Fun.
We didn't even talk about the double DQ of Max Reeves at the Red Eye.
Yeah, how about that? The Red Eye 60-60. Bubba Pollard, Jimmy Renfro win those, and neither one of them crossed the finish line first.
Well, the check cashes the same way, whether you win by checkered or win by DQ.
And that's the other thing that I saw over the weekend, where it's like, well, here we are, another super late model, pro late model race, another DQ. Well, they're testing the waters, man. They're testing the waters. They're hitting that gray area to where, it's a fine line right there. And when you do something wrong, you need to get thrown out. I mean, that's it.
Every car builder is colorblind. Every crew chief is colorblind. They only see the color gray.
Yeah. Also need to talk about IHRA. We missed this last week. It was kind of right when we ended the next day. IHRA taking over Rockingham. So I think that this is again where the IHRA and this, a lot of folks are like, why Rockingham? Well, there's a drag strip there, and they're obviously trying to do something there with their drag racing program. But I think taking that over and they're not going to run out of money. We talked about this last week. I mean, they're very stable with what they're doing. I think that if they can afford, you got the O'Reilly series that's going to be there. What is that? O'Reilly and Trucks? Is that what that is?
O'Reilly Trucks and Arca West. I will be boots on the ground for that race again this year.
And there you go. I mean, so I mean, for them, they saw the opportunity right there. Let's see how they take that and put their own spin on it. And I think that really, and that's where you go back to, and I mean, not that where somebody needs to come in and be the opposition or the whatever to NASCAR that folks are thinking about. Other options are starting to pop up right there. And when you get people that have money and have opportunities like IHRA, that's where, if you're NASCAR, with apparently they go into panic mode from some of the stuff that we found out during the trial. I only wonder what they're thinking now, because these people are
just
legit.
one track.
Wow.
And they didn't. Well, and the deal is that Track Enterprises is still leasing the facility to run the NASCAR stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why it's not like IHRA bought the facility. Everybody knows it was for sale. There was a big deal about it after the fact when the revival hit last year. and it was like, boom, but the difference is a lot of people were giving the owner shit because he got a lot of free money from the government to fix that place up that he paid pennies on the dollar for.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I'm sure I don't think he sold it for pennies on the dollar.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, Track Enterprises is still leasing it. Like I said, that's the first thing I text you because I didn't get to see it until you text me, and I was like, "Well, hell, what happened to the Easter race?" You're like, "It's still on." So
still on. Yep,
that's gonna be fun. It was packed last year. It was cheek to cheek in that joint.
Well, that's good. That's what needs to happen. So,
and
looking forward to that.
Economical impact to Richmond County.
Yeah, that's it. Also coming up later in the month, January 23rd and 24th, you got Speed Fest happening at Cordele. So plenty. January, we used to have to make shit up to talk about on the radio, but now it's just big races. That's all we talk about on here.
Yeah, well, big time show, big time races.
There you go. All right, friends, thank you for jumping in, and thanks to the folks that joined in. Getting you ready for the Wild West Shootout. We'll archive all this at RevvedUpSportsShow.com. I-37 Texas Shootout coming up, and again, the big Chili Bowl. All of that is coming at you this weekend or this week. These are not, you got weekend events, but then you have week-long events. So all of that coming up. Just check out RevvedUpSportsShow.com. That's the best place to be intact with everything going on. Yeah, you heading to 37 this weekend, my man?
It depends. I may be in San Antonio, but I don't know if I'm gonna get as far south as 37. I like to go, but it's still kind of up in the air. I got some leftover projects that I didn't get to finish over the Christmas and New Year break, so I got to work on some of that stuff too. Try to find a way to get it all. Plus, I gotta try to finish my Pinewood Derby car.
Oh, you doing that too? All right.
Hell, the better half wants me to build her one too.
Oh, nice. All
or
right.
she's gonna build her own. I'm gonna show her where the tools are and be like, here you go.
Whole nother cheating event that'll be going on right there.
Yeah, 5 ounces or 5 ounces or less. 5.01 ounces apparently is a DQ.
Oh, nice. All right. Who's the tech person on this?
I don't know. Last I heard is that little Gunner, Lavender was going to be tech person, but we'll see.
All right.
We'll see. It's going to be fun. Racers are going to be racing for money, so somebody's going to try to be cheating.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. All right, friends. We'll do it again. Stay tuned for the schedule. I'm actually heading to Tulsa on Saturday. Next week's going to be a little crazy for me, but we'll figure out what to do. So anyway, all that's coming up. All the archives, RevvedUpSportsShow.com. Be sure and follow on the socials and subscribe. Hit that YouTube thing. Let's juice that thing up in 2026.
That's right. That should have been a New Year's resolution. Double the amount of users on subscribers on YouTube.
That's right. Absolutely. All right, friends. Have a great week. Happy New Year once again, and we'll do it again very, very soon from deep in the heart of Texas. #Real Race Talk. This has been the Revved Up Sports Show. Have a great week, friends.